So with that said, we'll sort of move on to like link building and stuff. So as far as link building, outreach, promotion of your site, what work have you done there?
So the last time we spoke, I think you had asked me something like that, but basically, I had done what was recommended in your course, and then I some guest posts. So because that's been an area where I've been really lacking, and I kind of felt unsure about it. I had actually just finished Matt Diggity's course, where there's a huge section about outreach. So I'm going to be implementing that pretty soon. I mean, that's the best answer I have right now because there was so much that I didn't know, and now I have the information about how to take the right approach this time. I plan to start doing outreach on my own pretty soon and try to do as good of a job as possible. And some of the examples I'll learn.
Cool. At this point in time, how many like guest posts or backlinks do you have to your site?
Let's see, because that's actually part of one of the housekeeping things I have to do is get everything documented clearly.
Just
Oh
ballpark.
gosh, 35 or 40, I guess at this point, or something.
Okay.
Not that much. Not that much. I'm probably really forgetting a lot. you know.
Sure.
Oh,
Okay. So you have a handful, a couple dozen. So it's
yeah.
pretty, I think one thing I want to emphasize is outreach can be hard, right? Especially when you're first getting started. But also, you don't have to have that many like per month. So you've been at it for a couple of years or so. If you just get like one guest post per month or one link per month, over time that adds up. That's 24 in a couple of years. If you know, try a little harder, you can double that. If you're trying to get a lot of links in a short period and do a campaign, and I know a lot of people are just in a rush, but if you just step back, take your time, it's not so bad. It's not as intimidating, but there are other people who are like, I'm sending out 100 emails a day, which I hate getting those emails, by the way. I mark them all as spam, everyone, by the way. So when you're sending them out, they're being marked as spam a lot of times. Um, so I also want to, number one, I'll mention I should probably get Matt on the show so we can talk about his course and stuff like that. I haven't talked to him in a while, but I guess I'll just ask you: were the techniques in Five Figure Niche Site like not sophisticated enough, too boring? Were you having trouble with conversions? Like, where's the gap between like Matt's course and his outreach?
Well, for example, I hope I can answer this question appropriately. Let's see, and very well. So, and theirs actually had outreach specialists who created that information, not Matt in this case. So they had everything from examples of outreach emails to data and percentage about typical conversions, and I think it was just the specific information that's probably I won't. That doesn't mean that what was in Five Figure Niche wasn't good. I'm not saying that at all. Just that this was like, oh, I hadn't seen these numbers before, or here's some other ideas that I hadn't gotten before. You
Cool.
know, and somebody who actually works in that business. In this case, this was Ninja Outreach. People from Ninja Outreach saying, "Here's what we do to show you," like that. If
Gotcha.
that makes any sense.
Yes, it does. So it's like a little more data in there. And yeah, I'm not necessarily trying to defend my course, but because I know the stuff works, so
Yeah.
I'm comfortable with that. However, there are many different ways to present information. Funny story, I know the founder of, or one of the original founders of Ninja Outreach. So it's small world. I know he sold it. They sold her. He got bought out or some kind of situation like that. Um, but anyway, yeah, crazy. I need to catch up with that guy too. So you're going to sort of refocus on link building. And why were you, I guess, hesitant to put more effort into it previously?
Well, this goes back to, and a lot of what I talk about is based off where I was before because it was until just recently I was working a full time job and even spending late nights sometimes. So I had such limited time. I'm hard pressed to decide what I'm going to do because let's be honest, when your site is, well, one thing was my site was gaining momentum and organic traffic rising gradually. So I said, well, I just want to keep focused on putting out content, especially when I was having a lot of the using a KGR and a lot of the low competition um, keywords posts were ranking without links. It happened quite a few times. So that is kind of like says, well, maybe you can put that off until later. And it was kind of a case like that, you know. And
Okay.
and and part of it honestly was me not feeling too confident about how I would go about things. I can honestly say that had a lot to do with it.
Okay. And you are not alone. I've been doing success story interviews this week with students, and generally, it's exactly what you said.
Nice.
So it's over and over again. It's like, I know if I spend X amount of time or money on a piece of content, I'm pretty confident because I've seen the past results that it's going to work out. But there's a disconnect between the guest posting, even though I prescribe in the course to follow along moving forward. Um, at best, people will do what you did, maybe get
I mean,
30% of the 30 to 40% of the links as compared to the content. Generally, I'm trying to get those to go like 1 to 1. So you do a sprint of content, sprint of link building, but a lot of people just don't. They're like, I got a couple links, nothing happened. But the cool thing is, after someone does some link building for a little while, and by the way, I think your 30 to 40 guest posts out there probably like are very good and are helping your site. Like, I think there's some baseline. Once you reach that, you're probably in good shape. But I'm sure you've looked at some competition where content subpar, everything's subpar, links outstanding, and they have a lot of them. So you're nodding. You've seen that out in your
definitely.
competitors.
Yeah, sometimes disappointingly so. That's,
Yep.
yeah.
And I find like I had some experiences where it was like, people have just poor content, not much content, but a ton of links because that's what they're good at. Um, versus having a lot of content that is high quality with no links. And I think somewhere in the middle, I don't know where, but there's some balance where you have a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So I try and just like mix it together 50-50. Um, as far as resources, time, however you're classifying like your efforts. So with that said, do you have any specific goals on like links or guest posts or whatever moving forward?
But basically that I want to do the foundation as far as one thing I learned from we got the idea from here recently was that I should have been tracking very closely my anchor text ratios, my links, and all that, and that's where I really messed up in the beginning. So I don't just want to go out and do more, but I want to do it the right way. That is a major goal. Those two together, because those are interwoven. Yeah, definitely.
Very good. And so there's no specific goal of like X number of links over the next year or anything like that.
No, I didn't have a number like that yet. That's a
Okay.
good question. I have to think about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I wouldn't know. I mean, most of the time it's like as many as you can get, like
Okay.
basically.